Two pictures Una had that I love are rowing. I'm an avid rower, and again, avid gardener. I love those two photographs. I couldn't plant, I think, a weed myself. I think George's comments around Console, Console has to be understood, and the public hopefully will understand, and the media. Console was an exception. The people in this room, the people upstairs, and in thousands of organisations, the length and breadth of the country, do good work day in, day out. Some get paid, some don't get paid, and they do so and undertake that function, and the likelihood is that they will continue to do that work without any controversy. When you get something like Console, and Console was a dangerous situation on a whole host of fronts, and one of the parts that was forgotten about Console was the 346 people who were receiving active counselling and the 19 people who are ringing the suicide helpline every single day. And amidst all of the chaos, amidst all of the public and the media frenzy and the political frenzy, and little has happened since, those people were forgotten. And a lesson to all of us for the future: in the event of something happening, whatever that might be, there needs to be a plan to ensure that the service users are protected, and that someone steps into those shoes under the regulator's auspices to ensure that it happens. I met the regulator day 2 of Console, and you remember, I went into Console to do a governance review, arrived in the morning to find out the board meeting that had taken place the night before, and that's why I'm laughing at Una's slides. The board meeting that was supposed to have taken place the night before didn't happen. The board members that were to attend didn't know they were on the board, and the husband and wife who were involved with the organisation had resigned, and we'd all announced on prime time they're resigning, hadn't actually resigned. And we went in to meet John on the Tuesday, and John was hull. You can imagine he's in his first gig now and everything's going swimmingly well. Charities are lovely people, and all of a sudden this shitstorm starts and he's saying, what's going on here? So when we arrive and sit down and there was a bit of a standoff for a while, and then for 3 weeks solid, John, his team, and many others, and this was a massive team event, and many people in this room and in this sector were unhappy about matters as Console unfolded, because it did untold damage to everybody and everyone's plight. But it had to be wrapped up, it had to be secured, and those services had to be protected, because, believe me, a bigger consequence of what happened with Console was a failure to protect those services. Then we would have had inappropriate behaviour, inappropriate governance, inappropriate carry-on, with a personal outcome for someone in the form of losing their life and not being protected. So we had to be very, very careful in relation to that. And as I say, John and his office and many people need to be reassured. One thing I would say is many organisations have challenges, have difficulties, and Una's slides are on board members and families and friends. Until we eradicate all of those conflicts, we're going to allow an opportunity arise for a handful, and it is only a handful, and it's very, very important to remember. They do, and certain characters in Console get different recognition for different types of behaviour, other than the downright wrong behaviour that happened in relation to this. But if you're going to have a husband, wife, son and daughter involved in the board of a charity, you're looking for trouble. If you're going to have friends and family supplying print services, HR services, and all sorts of other services, you're going to have a problem. If the auditor of the organisation's daughter is being educated by the charity funding it, you're going to have a problem. And the elephant in the room is what happens to the monies that come in. During the Console, the allegation is about 700,000, I think it'd be about 550 when the books are balanced, of inappropriate spending that are done. But no one will ever be able to, and we're moving towards a cashless society for a discussion another day, this sector must grapple with being able to confirm with people where the money is spent, as Una has mentioned, is absolutely, ultimately important, and as Tim's slide show, you must show where the money was spent, but you must evidence that the money landed securely and safely, and that's our next biggest challenge. So all I would say in finishing, the 3 weeks I spent in Console showed me a whole host of things, but the most important thing it showed is the value of protecting the good work we all do, and we all are passionate about charitable endeavours and the community sector, and collectively it is incumbent upon all of us, and wobbles and crises will arise, that's human nature, but you must take protective steps to stop them. The regulator's office is open, there are many others that are open, and the regulator's office, from my experience, is going to be robust in relation to dealing with stuff, but it's going to be fair and reasonable. And I would strongly encourage any organisations that are facing challenges, especially ones with providing services to people, engage early and deal with it head on. And don't bury the head in the sand, because you, the sector, and the volunteers and staff and the service users will come out of this, unfortunately, at the wrong end.